Welcome to Hashtime with Mugumisa. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, emotional well-being, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, consider this your virtual home. I'm your host, Mugumisa, and I cannot wait to engage with you in the various conversations. Desire Derekford Mugumisa. He is currently the head of corporate affairs at Next Media, a sports broadcaster, a husband, and a girl dad with a remarkable and inspiring experience of fatherhood. So Father's Day on my calendar is marked 21st June, and I was really excited thinking of myself as one of the responsible content creators to share a Father's Day episode on Father's Day. But Sunday came and social media was snatched by people who had something to say about fathers. It was Father's Day, and now I don't know what to do with this Wednesday apart from publishing the prepared episode. Here is our conversation. DDM.
Hey,
introduce yourself before people ask me who DDM is.
Desire Derekford Mugumisa.
Oh yes. Welcome to Hashtag with Mugumisa.
Thank you so much.
Ignore Danze.
I'm done.
They're not hash times.
Don't worry, I don't expect much of him. I don't rank his or rate his opinion so highly.
That is a respectable person. Please do not use my podcast for your battleground.
None at all. He's cool peoples. Yes.
So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Finally a guest and not just a listener.
Hey.
What?
Okay, well, I am definitely feeling extremely honored. Truly, to be honest. I woke up in the morning and I sort of still had doubts. Like, even if he, I was like, even when he cancels, I'm not surprised. Who am I?
No, come on, no, not at all. I was always making it. I was glad that you agreed would push the hours of recording because of the timings and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was always on my plan. Made the Saturday a bit tricky, but yeah, it's worth everything.
So I'm very happy to have you on board.
Very glad to be here.
I usually ask people, for those that don't know you, but I feel like you have so many that know you.
No, not at all.
Trust me. If all. I'm talking about myself as someone that used to watch you on TV while I was at the university, how many years is that? If I said the number of years when I left the university, I'll be very old. So
let me say, I've been on TV since late 2006, so you shouldn't feel bad about that.
That's a very long time.
Yeah, my senior 4 back then.
You were working on TV?
That's when I got the opportunity to work on TV, to start on TV. So yeah, been in there and battled through it in terms of going back to HSC as if a celebrity in high school, having shows recorded in school. Do you understand? So yeah, you had to find a way to, well, of course you get carried away and you do a couple of things because, now I'm star, then you reflect and you're like, I shouldn't have done that. So it was a lot of learning through the experience. And now, even today, I see young presenters, first year, second year, and I see exactly what they are going through and I can relate. Yeah, some of it plays out in the press. Sometimes it only plays out in the corridors at the office and all of that. But yeah, I've had to learn so much along
we need to jump into that now. We have to jump into that.
Is that today as well?
But before, we have the time.
All right.
We have the time.
I have the time too.
I'm sure the person listening has the time as well. So for those that do not know you, now if you're talking about late 2006, isn't that the first time, that's the first year Bessie came?
Oh, yeah?
I think, to challenge the government. Wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, 2006. But it was way after, because I think the elections are in January, February, or something like that. Yeah, so for me, it was December. So it was the new, do you call it the new term of Museveni then? Yeah, 2006.
Yeah. New term. So for those that do not have a single awareness of who Desire Derekford is, let's assume you're not in Uganda.
Okay.
For those that don't know you, let me assume they aren't in Uganda. Who are you? Who is this person that we have on set?
Desire Derekford Mugumisa. Well, I am now in communications, marketing, and all of that. I am a passionate sports fan.
Yeah.
Heathens Rugby Club is my club, among so many other sports teams in Uganda. I am Ugandan driven. Ugandan driven in such a way that I carry Ugandan products and Ugandan stories and all of those kinds of things at a much higher pedestal than I do the international ones. So my wife once told me, well, she started when she discovered, say, a new product and everything, and she would dread the question of where is it from, because the moment she said it was South African or something and there was a Ugandan option, we were using that. So if it's hair products and all of that, I'm going to use the Ugandan one.
That is different.
It doesn't matter if it is considered fake out there or whatever.
It doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't matter. For as long as it is Ugandan and there's a Ugandan thing to it. Not fake in terms of quality, but, you know, we live in a Uganda where a couple of people feel Ugandan things are fake.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it's different.
Yes, by profile, not because of their quality. So for me, if the quality is good or similar to a South African product, a UK product, I'm using the Ugandan one, regardless of how fake I might look to my friends. Yeah, so that kind of thing. When it comes to music, I feel so bad at the end of the year now that Spotify and Apple Music give you what you've been listening to. If they're like even international songs, unless of recent. If it's Burna Boy, it's acceptable. But
the giant of Africa.
Yeah, but if it's I don't know, any of this other stuff, I feel like it's special kind of way. Not a special kind of way, like I feel disappointed in myself a bit. I feel like I've let down my country.
Oh yeah.
In one way or the other. Yes, it's that serious for me.
Oh my God.
For example, last year, I don't even remember the artist. There was Jocquees Clean.
That's for the Spotify rap?
I think this was Apple Music. I didn't do a lot of Spotify last year, interestingly. But Apple Music, there was Darling Jocquees Clean. There was a lot of Zex Bidanji. I love that album. His Hercules album. There was a lot, of course, of the lady from Swangs that is not Vinka, that is not
Nwaji.
Azawi. Yes, Azawi and all of that. But I'm also a lot more of the urban underground music. So
what is urban underground like?
There's quite a number of people in there. So again, it also keeps changing over the years, but there was a time when it was Kenneth Mugabe, when it was Irene Tale. Irene Tale, before she became commercial, there's a whole different version of Irene Tale out there that is not that popular.
The raw version.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Instruments and all of that. Some of those songs have been, the acoustics and all of that, some of her songs have been redone to fit the pop kind of thing and all of that. But there are quite a number of people. Currently, I like Mitch. He's more of a poet and all of that, but he has a bit of music. Issa Abidie.
Is it like, me?
Yeah.
Do you know where my mind had gone?
The MC?
Gone to the myth.
The myth.
Because I was going to be like, yo, that's a very long time ago.
No, the myth has never been. Okay, yeah. Hip hop has not exactly been mainstream in Uganda for a minute. So those were there. There's quite a lot of talent, honestly. 2008, 10, 11, when I did radio, the people who were underground then are totally different from the current guys. There is also a lot of...
I think I'm hearing the word underground for the first time. I don't know much about
it. Really?
Yeah.
it's there and it's huge and all of that. It's really huge.
Because what is underground? For all the genres that I've had,
I'll just go through my playlist and I'll maybe from it I will let me see, where can I find it? Somewhere here.
Underground.
I was just looking at it yesterday. So you'll find, interestingly, Sabidi Mitch is one of those in there.
So he when you look at underground, does that mean that?
And it's really a term I'm using. I don't think they also, define themselves as underground. It's just music that is not on the radio. You'll probably never hear it on the radio.
I'm embarrassed that I've not seen Mitch's music. I just know him for a poet.
He's a poet, but he has songs out there. He has productions out there as well. Back then we had the likes of Tamba. She's never really gone.
Tamba.
A lady called Tamba. Very, very talented. Look out for a song called, I think, Mam Kamwe. One of those that she did back then. There is Herbert Sensamba.
I know Herbert.
Yeah. So like I said, again, for me, it's a term I have in my head. I don't think they define themselves as that, but these are mostly soul artists or something like that.
Yeah.
But then there's also a lot of rap. There's quite a number of genres in there. But again, their kind of music won't be some of that you'll find in the mainstream. So yes, I have a lot of that going on.
Yeah, Kenneth, I noticed when you mentioned that Kenneth is in that category, it's a very long time. It took him a very long time to be recognized, like to hear very many people talk about him. Mm-hmm. It felt like when I was listening to his music, it felt like a personal relationship.
Yeah, yes.
Because it was very rare to find someone talking about him until he did that song with a deaf girl. Which song is that?
Oh, he has a song with a deaf girl? Maybe I just don't
She was in the video.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That's in Kwegomba.
Yes, that one went wild.
Yes, and interesting story. So the week he released in Kwegomba, I was trying out a couple of hustles here and there. So I had invited him. I was organizing trips. So I said, you know what, I could give you a free trip. And maybe you and your manager and stuff like that, but I would want to put an experience of your kind of music on one of my trips.
So you give me a free trip and you do a podcast.
Well, that was my hustle then. I got so busy for it and stuff. So he was like, you know what? Yeah, sure. I could come along. I will also sell a couple of albums and stuff like that. Now, of course, you're not so sure and everything, but you're thinking to tell people that I have an artist on the poster. So not so many people are even coming because of Kenneth Mugabe. I can imagine what it would look like today if you did a trip and you say, you know what, one of the people who will be performing at the bonfire of this trip will be Kenneth Mugabe. I think it would be...
Oh, the bonfire it would be a great
Yeah, so
idea.
that was the concept we had and it worked out. So he comes through, I had listened to the song the first time. He's like, oh, by the way, we are going, but this is one of the songs I just released. What do you think of it? I was like, first listen.
Yeah.
Songs take a while to grow on people, but first listen, I was like, this is beautiful. But because by then it was Nachi and a couple of other songs that he had. So we go for this bonfire and he's on the trip and no one can recognize him of the people that we were taking. I remember we were going to Kalangala. No one could recognize him. They just saw a guy with a guitar and everything and maybe they thought, this guy is going to give us an upcoming artist and stuff like that. So the hotel we were living at in Kalangala, everyone comes out for the bonfire, including, of course, my group of people. So we come out of the bonfire, we join all these other people, and then I'm worried about, these guys are having their good romantic moments and stuff, because, it's couples usually with Kalangala. So I'm worried about how it will turn out, but Kenneth goes on there, does what I expected of him. So imagine it's a bonfire, it's dark, there are not all these lights and stuff. So the light that is there is, from the cottages that are at a distance.
Yeah.
It's by the lakeside, you can hear the lake and stuff like that. And then the light from the bonfire. And then on one end of that bonfire, there is Kenneth Mugabe and his guitar and he's singing. And his singing is not just singing, it's also a little bit of acting and all of these and the intonations and all of that. Best trip I ever organized. I didn't break even, but it was great. Yeah, I didn't make no profits on that trip. But it was a great one. It's a great memory. And I like that a couple of times he refers to it as well. So, yeah, and when he speaks about stuff, he is referred to it a couple of times and stuff.
That's great.
Yeah. So for me, it's a quality
No,
thing.
you're talking about non-breaking even, but there is impact that you created at least for an artist.
Yes,
for
I think
Ugandan
so.
products.
A couple of times he has also teased me to Dayo Diekalanga. So I guess I'm not so sure I can afford him. I saw him close at Boys to Men. For me, my concert ended after Kenneth Mugabe's performance. Ooh. Yeah, it was over. You know, there was Sauti Sol, there was Boys to Men, that was really for the wife. For me, my music, again, I wanted to catch them for that concert because the Ugandan artists were singing first and stuff like that. So yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Joshua Baraka, shout out to him. He's one of the current guys that have broken through from.
So we call him the new blood. But I think I've heard that he's been existent. On the popular end of thing. But you see, I feel like he has music that is better than Nana that people have not appreciated. And I think Belinda in particular is one of my favorites. But she hasn't exactly been a hit song. I hope some work can be done with them. I don't know. I hope they will go back now to the past and try to push those other songs that people listen to before Nana. I have a feeling Nana is going to be the Nachi of Kenneth. Oh yeah. Because you see, I think I've also noticed that what Kenneth has decided to do for most of his events, Nachi is the end. Yeah. You see, you're in the crowd. The Raps has also come through now, so it's rivaling that. Is it? Yeah, it is. But Nachi will always be a feature. I think it will get quite the cheers every time he performs. In the audience? Yes. Nachi wadi. You know? They're always asking. So when he finishes, sometimes like, Nachi! Yeah. And he knows when he says that, he knows what they're going to say. He's a great performer. I'm so happy for him. Yeah. So, you made us forget about your introduction. No, it's still the introduction. You decided to go the Ugandan way. We're talking about different people. Surely. Oh, so we're still Kenneth Mugabe was already here, but we are focusing on him. He told his story. I'm sorry. So yeah, Desire likes Ugandan things. He's passionate about sport. He has a dream to one day wake up, sleep, eat, drink, sports, leadership, marketing, and all of that. So that's a goal that keeps me going and stuff like that. I want to, so I keep working every day to get better at what I do currently so that one day the best of what I have can be given to sport. Yeah, I get better. Wow. I make mistakes almost every month and I see them and... and you want to better them? I want to better them. So, though sometimes I think people feel like, so what were you thinking when you came up with this? It was so good. And I was thinking it was a mistake. But since you look at it that way, this is what we're trying to achieve. And we achieved it. But some of them are flat out mistakes. You make it and it's a mistake and you apologize and you're trying to get better. We learn from mistakes. Yeah. I think those are the best lessons. They say so. Experience is the best teacher. Yeah, exactly. So, in a nutshell, he's married. He has 2 daughters. A girl dad, one of my biggest pieces of pride. Yeah. And it's not that... I think some of the best moments for me are when one of the girls or both of them maybe fall asleep in my arms or something like that. Or just look at them and they are happy. They are not hungry. They are not feeling like, I would have wanted to watch cartoons and I can't watch them. Or it's a case of, Daddy, I want you to they are not so well-mannered yet. What do you mean? Daddy, I want, not can I. So sometimes that comes through and they're like, who do you think you are? It is your job. I guess, yeah. But you want them to teach themselves? No. You teach them and then you have to ask, what did you say? Can I? Okay, yeah. But that happens. But for me, I think the biggest bit of satisfaction that I have, and sometimes I've reflected and wondered, do I shoot solo? Am I not ambitious enough or something like that? But I have found that it's not really about how much money I have in the account. Of course, it's more comfortable when there is something, there's that safety net and everything. You feel like security. I'm safe. That security. But it's also for me to be able to say, the girls don't have milk and then we can get it. And they want to be able to do this and we can get it. There will be things they want that I feel like, no, that's extravagant, so we won't do that. But to be able to see them happy and not lacking and all of that, I think is
it's something I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is coming out on Father's Day.
Oh, yes.
So I think we should be speaking like, today is Father's Day.
Okay, so on this Father's Day, that is one of my biggest pieces of satisfaction. Come back from work, sometimes it is so exhausting and everything, and they just come and people are like, Daddy!
Yeah, because I was actually going to ask
huge.
you, when you mentioned that one of the moments that you love with them is when they sleep in your arms. And I was going to ask you, what time do they sleep? Did you have like too much work?
So no, there have been incidents where I have gone 2 weeks without seeing them, but we sleep in the same house.
Whoa.
And they feed in the same house and stuff like that. So there have been those incidents. Not all because of work, but because again, me and this Ugandan thing, I don't know how to do it half-heartedly, but I'm also a passion-driven person. So if the heathens are going to play in Arua, we are leaving Friday morning, and we'll reach maybe
Friday morning.
Yes,
when
maybe
they're playing on Saturday.
It's Arua.
How many hours?
And it's when they've played, say, in Arua, like last year in the sevens, that was with the sevens you play the whole day, especially for the upcountry ones. This year we're going to do 2 day. I'm waiting to see how that one gets to go. But what we've usually had is games will kick off at 8 a.m. and they will get done about 5 or 6 p.m. So that means you can't arrive that morning. That would mean you have slept on the road or something like that. So I think Arua is about 10 hours maybe. But again, the fans bus doesn't work the same way a private car or a bus would work. The fans bus has drinks, it has fun, it has music, it has all these things, which means the susu breaks are going to be so many. And then a quarter of the bus wants to eat at this place, a quarter of the bus wants to eat at the other place, and all of that. So the stopping is so much. Last year we set off from here at 11 a.m. We arrived in Arua at about midnight, after midnight or something like that. And it's really because of the stops. But you see, the stops are also part of the experience. So again, before we get off of the thing, so you'll find that again, Monday to Thursday, in that case, you've been waking up early, you have a show to do early in the morning. They're going to be up maybe about 7 and all of that to prepare for school for those that are doing that. But that's usually the time they wake up because they sleep quite early. By 8 or thereabouts, they're off to bed. So if they're in bed at 8 and you arrived at 9 or 10, you didn't see them. You're going to wake up in the morning at about 4:40, 5 a.m. or something like that to prepare to go to work. You will not see them in the morning. But you will chat, they'll send you voice notes or maybe something. You will see them off of whichever adult is at home and stuff like that.
That sounds like you're not in the country.
It sounds like, sometimes it feels that way. But again, when you manage to get a Saturday or a Sunday, I look forward. I love to watch the Heathens play and all of those things. But I also look forward to the off seasons, to the breaks so much because, finally, I'll go home on Friday night or Friday evening. And then I am home all day, Saturday, Sunday, and by Saturday, 4 p.m., they've pissed you off enough. You want to leave, but again, it's part of the experience. Don't do that, and they'll do exactly that.
There are 2 people I think that I once had to plan with something work related, and they were like, "Oh man, I don't want my kids to get to a point where they call me uncle."
Oh yeah.
I had to go and create time for them.
Yes, but it's you've got to be so terrible for them to start calling you uncle. You have to be.
It's not about being terrible. Like they were pointing out that they have to create time. I've not been present, so I'm trying to be there.
Yeah. No, again, even when those 2 weeks happen and stuff like that, at the end of the day, at the back of your mind, it's bugging you. You want to figure out, how do I get to do that? But you see, again, in between that, I feel that for them to know, there is ice cream in the fridge, Dad left that for you or something like that. It means something to the children.
Presence.
Then they'll send you that video that, thank you, Daddy, I got this and all of that. And then maybe you will reply with a video or something like that. But other than that, I am, especially now, I'm trying to, as much as possible, be home by 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah.
And all of that, it's not so successful. You'll manage to score that maybe twice a week or something like that. But maybe be there by 7 and then PM, and you have maybe an hour together. And you just ask them about their day and maybe play a game or something. Yeah, it's a constant struggle, but it's a struggle that I am grateful for.
Yeah,
because the experience, it's totally worth it. Because for me, maybe I also overly build on tiny things to create meaning to them and all of that. But even the 1 hour, the 30 minutes you manage to spend with them is great. It counts.
But they don't need so much most times.
Yes, exactly. It counts. But then also there are times whereby you get home at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and all you want to do is be alone. You go to the bedroom and just lock the door and say, you know what, today is not the day. There are also those days. Yeah. So, because at the end of the day, for me, it's also important that I have those days. Because when you are at the office, it is next media days, everything that comes in. And there are times when you've gone in with your to-do list and you've done hardly anything, but you've been busy since you walked in and you're doing all of these things. And then I'll just say, you know what, today I'm not doing anything. I am coming home, but it is for me to close the door and just lie down on the phone or just breathe and stuff like that. So that times, again, when we do this work-life balance, many times with the life we are talking about family and those other responsibilities, sometimes it's even the side hustle because it will contribute to your life at some point and everything. I feel it's also very important to just find time for you.
For you. I mean, it makes sense. If I myself don't have kids yet, but I get home and I'm like, man, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
just don't.
I just don't want to talk and stuff like that. And it was quite hard when we just got married because we had all these ideas of how a couple should spend time together. We should never be the couple that is just there seated without talking and stuff like that. Why aren't you talking and all of that? When do you keep quiet? You know, when do you keep quiet? But then we got in there and we figured, you know what? There are times you're a couple and you're okay, you're fine. I could see a meme on my phone and I'll show it to you and you will laugh. You could see one on your... And it's totally fine. Again, are you fine? And all of that. Without trying to force it and all of that. And there are times where I've just decided that, you know what, this particular day is for me. I'll get off work, yes, but it's not for home. It is to just sit maybe at the rugby club and watch training maybe, or just sit there and just grab a drink or grab a tea or grab something or a bite or something and then just go home when the traffic clears or something like that. Yeah, so I try to prioritize those as well in there. But again, it's a hassle, but what is the word? It's one you have to do. It's one you have to go through with and just be present in all the aspects of your life.
What when you think about the word fatherhood, what comes to mind? Let's draw back a little bit to your experience of your father, maybe.
Fatherhood. From the experience of my father, you are the shepherd.
What does that mean?
You are the one that is tasked with, like, again, from the perspective of my father, it is a bit of figuring out what do they have too much of and what do they need that they don't have a lot of, and be that. So with my mom, I'm from a broken family. They broke up when I was 7. But with my mom, it was clear that it was about happiness. My mom never asked me for a report. Yeah, never.
Was she paying the school fees?
Yeah, I don't know. They were figuring it out.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, a little bit later, even when she paid the school fees, I don't ever remember going back home and she was telling me, where is your report card on the final day of school?
What did that make you feel like?
It was me who would be excited maybe because of how I did this time.
Exactly.
When I'm like, Mommy, look what I did. I was top 10 or top 5 or this and all of that. And I got this in English and all of that. And like, oh, congratulations. Let's go celebrate. So for my mom, it was really about life, about comfort, about, I guess, lessons and all of that. It's interesting how she was also such the hooper, because she gave us slippers and all of those things. But again,
life
on
needs
the other,
to be balanced,
I guess. And then on my dad's side, it was, again, the things I remember of him. It's not like he died or anything. He's still, but remembering how he raised us, it was about when we got into problems. Of course, that was the time when the puberty hit and it was the girls.
Yeah.
And it was reminding you see that girl that you are being reported about with and everything. And in all honesty, I'm the one who had reported her for hitting on me. But yeah, he made it look like I was the bad one. He wasn't believing me and stuff like that. He was telling me, you see those girls you're wasting time with?
Yeah.
They're going to grow up and be great people. By marriage or by work or by whatever. And for you are here, you're giving all your life to them, but for them they're focused. And all of those things. But because, you feel like you're Mr. Emotional and everything. Of course, I wasn't being Mr. Emotional or anything, but it gave me a thing to think about. And I was like, okay, I wasn't being emotional. I'm the one who reported her daddy. But then it also gave me more reason to think about it.
Yeah.
But he was also the tough guy. It was never pleasantries and stuff like that. My phone calls with my dad start with hello, hats, in terms of, so what's up? It's not of how are you and all of that. Lately, now that I have a family, it's also about, and he's never asking about me. He's asking about my work and then how are the people. But yeah, that is exactly that. So he gave me that side of thing. And for me, what I got out of it is life has got to have reason, you know. If you're going to make a phone call, you shouldn't be spending 30 seconds, or at least that's what I picked out of it, 30 seconds on greetings that you don't even mean in terms of how are you. So if I tell you I'm not fine, and then what?
Are you going to sit through it?
You get what I mean and all of that. So it is, hey, hi, what's up? So this guy, what do we do?
Does that mean, wait, so how is it said? Hatshi?
Hatshi.
So,
Katishichi.
yeah.
Something like that.
So does that mean that the moment he calls you, you are straight away put in a position where
with dad, I know.
You need to have information to give, like a report?
Exactly. Not a report per se, but have your mind figured out. He prepared me to prepare myself. Because you would make a phone call to him and dad, we have this problem and everything. He doesn't want to hear about, and this is me, 14, 13, whatever. He's probably gone on safari and you've called and you only have problems without solutions. And he's thinking, like, okay, so yes, all of this is happening and everything. So what are you guys going to do? What have you decided to do?
Because, I'm calling you. Give me the solution.
No, at the end of the day, yes, he wanted to hear that we've decided that we are going to break the door and all of this because the key is lost and all of that. But we need to replace the door. The door costs this much and all of that. Don't tell me about how my little brother has lost the key and all of that. And then what? You get what I mean? So he prepared us that way. There's a time I was so desperate to watch football. I think we were younger, so I think Chelsea was supposed to play like an FA Cup final or something like that. And then the power went off on the day they were going to install a dish or something like that.
Yeah.
And the generator was in the store at the back of the house. And I think he had either moved with the key mistakenly or something like that. So I come, I say, we have to watch the game and all of that. It wasn't important, honestly. I could have left the house. But in that moment, it was very important for me. So I had the door broken. And I didn't even call him because I found a solution. And then he comes back and he's checking, because the generator was in the store. Comes back, he's looking and he's like, and when did this dog break? Of course, it's many months later that he's finding that out. And it doesn't make sense even for me, because after it had broken and we had watched half the game, I was thinking, what was I dying for? And all of that. And now it's many months later and you're thinking, how do I even explain that?
Right.
I broke the door so I could watch a football game and stuff like that. But he took it and said, anyways, he was solving a problem. But he said, is that a problem? Now it was also now about, can you figure out what the problems are? Yeah. Another day is, I think I was in my senior 6 VAC, so we are living. He used to take us to his office every single day that we were home. He didn't want us to stay at home.
Yeah.
So we were leaving office. It was a Saturday, I remember. So we were going to watch a lot of football at home and just hang out at home. So we stopped by a supermarket and he says, everyone get what you want. because we had a fairly good relationship with him, I was open with him. Everyone was picking like fruits. You know how that jackfruit in the supermarket is packed, grapes and stuff.
Yeah.
I picked out 2 beers and put them.
At what age?
I was about 18 or thereabouts.
Okay.
Yeah. So he knew I was drinking now and everything, and he was okay with it and all of that. Or at least it felt like I could do it. Because, you know, I think when drinking comes up with parents is you're wondering, when can I do it for the first time in his presence? And then there was a party at home and he phoned me with this and he came and he looked. Everyone was happy. He was jolly. He's like, hey, you also started. Like, okay. He walked away. So I was like, phew.
Thank God.
Everyone now knows.
Yeah.
So this one, even afternoon, we are picking out things and I pick out 2 beers. He looks at me, but he's not exactly happy. And I'm like, so what's happening now? This is the first time I was buying. So we put them in the car. He's paid for everything and we're driving home. So he's like, I saw you picked out beers, particularly. Why did you pick out beers? And I said, because I drink. He's like, yeah, I know that already, but why?
Yeah.
It's like, because you said we pick out what we want. It's a Saturday evening and everything. And he says, that's still not a reason. Why did you pick beer?
Huh.
So I had no answer because I never thought of that. And he said, don't just drink because it's Saturday. Don't just drink because it's Friday.
Right.
It has got to be something. If you're going through something, it's not good to be drinking, but at least we know why.
He said those words?
Yeah. If you're celebrating something, well and good, you have a reason to drink. Don't just... And you see, this is a man who, even at our village home, alcohol is made in the backyard where we come from. Alcohol is in the home.
Yeah.
There is a room where you keep that banana fruit alcohol in Turire. It's in jerrycans. You open the door and they're like 10 jerrycans at any given time of alcohol in them. It's juice at first and then later it is alcohol.
Yeah.
But he's ensuring that you've got to have a reason and stuff like. So those are some things that I remember. And then also again, solution based. Get home. There's this one time I think the maid had left or something and it was just me, him and my kid brother. And I thought, so it's just the 3 of us, we're going to buy food. He said, no, we're not going to buy cooked food. Stopped by the butcher as he always did, bought the meat and bought the food and put it in the car. And then I remind him, Daddy, there is no one at home. He's like, yeah, we are making it ourselves. So even the beef that I cooked today, I learned from him that evening so many years ago and stuff like that. So it was about, if there is nothing, we find a solution to it and all of that kind of stuff. So again, the shepherd. Is what I was trying to
it does make sense
there.
when you mention the part of shepherd.
Yeah.
What are the things that you feel like you're going to give us 2 directions to it? The things that you feel like you definitely, I think you've done that, the shepherd part. So what are the things that you feel like you may not have experienced in his fatherhoodness that you feel like are important for your girls?
I think he did it in his way with what he knew.
Yeah.
It just can't exactly apply today with what we know and the realities and all those kinds of things. And it really is compassion that we got a lot from our mom and everything. And in his books, he will tell you, I was compassionate. I ensured that you didn't drink for nothing. I ensured that you knew even when the maid is away, you can make a meal yourself and stuff like that. So even when I go home, especially when we have like new maids in the house and stuff like that, there have been those who are very traditional, conservative, who can't believe it when they find me making myself a cup of coffee, for example, in the kitchen, and they're like
to food
or something like that, and all those kinds of things. So he did it in his own way, but today it's a bit different, and I struggle with it sometimes. Sometimes I come off as too harsh to the girls, the mother comes out and says, you shouldn't have done it that way and stuff like that. But then over and above because again, there's no manual to this parenthood thing. There's no manual to it. Over and above, there are times I've felt bad for doing something, and then a little bit later, like weeks, maybe months, maybe years, you've realized, you know what, if I'd not approached it this way, I wouldn't have had that balance, because again, at the end of the day, the mom is going to take them that other direction. So I have no qualms with how our dad raised us, I think. He was tough, he was different. I would have loved some more love from him and everything, but with everything that I was getting from elsewhere, I think it has shaped me up to be the person that I am. Again, I come from a home whereby, in as much as dad was successful and everything, he was also very sure to let us know that his success, and those are conversations he had with his friends while we were present, that scared me a lot. Because
like which kind of conversations?
Conversations such as, you see how rich I am, and he was very bold about how rich he was and how he is and stuff like that. He doesn't say that much anymore. But then he will say, you see how rich I am and everything? Yeah, these kids are going to be broke if they're not careful.
What the heck?
And I was like, Dad, aren't you leaving us like a house or a car or something, aren't you like distributing these things and stuff like that? He would tell you flat out, this is my stuff.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't rich, he was broke. I made this stuff myself. Look around. And he would point out and he says, that guy is rich too. Look at his sons who are much older than you. Are they rich? And he would paint all these pictures. And this is me, a teenager. And I'm comfortable because I go to school with pocket money that a couple of friends of mine might not have.
Yeah.
I had a suitcase of Grab and a suitcase of books, clothes, and everything else. But there was a suitcase for Grab.
Yeah.
And he provided that. But he was, at every opportunity, he was telling you, you're going to be broke if you're not careful. And I think what he has ended up making of me is a hustler, because I have not fronted, books or something to get what I've gotten and stuff like that. When I went out, it was because of his advice. But again, he would just listen and he says, go ahead. I told him, you know what? I know we've done telecom engineering and all of that, but what I want to do is to be a TV presenter, and I'm going to be a TV presenter. And then I went out and I wasn't being paid and all of that. And he would ask me, so did they pay you today? I said, no. And he says, but keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Build that profile and all of that. So he gave me that kind of thing.
That's great.
But never did he ever come through. I will call my dad today and I tell him, Dad, there's a course I'm going to do. I don't have 2 million to pay for it today. And he's like, and he will tell you, but I know he has that money on his bank account. He will not lend it to me until he hears it from someone else I try to borrow from. And he says, okay, maybe he needs it a lot. Then he will send it. And he will not send it as a loan. He will send it as money he has given you.
Yeah.
But he has ensured to remind me that and when I win somewhere and he sees it, I forget this employee of the month things. He will act like he didn't see it. And then you will tell him, oh, by the way, I got this. And he's like, oh, really? Good. Congratulations. Very good. But I've heard from some of his friends that he's proud of me. But he will never tell me that until it's a speech at a wedding or something where he'll be like, you people know NBS, that is my son. Yeah. But other than that, he has made it clear that his money is his money, his property is his property, at least to me and all of that. And I've managed to come this far because of that mentality, because now I get in, and from a very young age, going through all that I've gone through, it is, what much more can I bring to the table? How can I think like the person who is supervising me so I can be able to deliver it to the level that they expect or exceed it, and all of that. So yeah, from presenter, managed to be a producer, video editor, learned a bit of camera work, and I wasn't being paid in my first job. And then, but at that point, I realized like 3 or 4 years into it that, you know what, this contract that I thought I would get is not going to be coming. So I'm going to try as much as possible to be as well-rounded as I can be, so that when it finally comes, or when whoever feels they can pay me comes around, they will pay me more than just a presenter or something like that. And that has kept helping me grow through. It's that attitude, and I have to credit my dad for it because of that one. Because there was a time it was so comfortable. There was a time one of my sisters was getting married, and there is the home event, like in Buganda, they call the Kwanjula, where the husband doesn't contribute to it. And my dad said, the only wedding meetings you are doing are planning meetings. I don't want anyone's money. And he said, I'm going to throw a big wedding for you, a big one. It's a kuhinjira at home. I'm going to throw a big kuhinjira for you. And he did that. And at that point, he had just added to his work fleet. And these are all things he was buying with cash. And he had, I think, just bought some more equipment for his timber business and stuff. And all of these things were happening at once. And I was thinking, we are so comfortable. And it was on that trip. I'll never forget it. It was on that trip that he said, all of this is happening. Because one of my uncles, I think, was telling him, you're doing a great job. I think he was putting all this into perspective for him. You're doing a great job and all of this. These kids are so lucky to have you. He said, Haza, they should never even think about it. These are my things. If they think their father has worked for these things and they're going to make it, shame upon them. They have to work hard. And from that point on, I was actually not even a teenager. Well, the teenager part, he was really repeating it. I think I was in about P5, P6.
That is really young.
Yes. Maybe there. I don't know. I don't remember really. Or maybe S2, S3. But yes, those are conversations we were having in the car. And you were seated, when we reach Lukaya, we are going to buy all these meats and they're going to be in the car and everyone is going to enjoy. Oh, and there's soda and everything is available. And it hit me. I keep thinking about it. Yeah. I've not had that conversation with him. I will tell him that, thank you for that day. Because, from that point on, the pressure was on me. How will I be here? And then I say, I didn't make it. And because now I looked at myself and I was saying, that's tainting his legacy. He had all these things. He educated us. And for some of us, we decided, no, Dad, I've had enough of school. I'm walking away. And he said, so what do you want to do? I want to do a business. And he gave you, if you needed like 100 million to start that business, he gave you 5 or 10 to start. That was his contribution. Mm-hmm. So you go figure it out and stuff like that. He did his part. So it was on us.
Great.
So,
it's great because I like the fact that we're having this perspective, this other side of fatherhood in an African context. Yeah. Because usually the stories that you hear, this guy was abusive, he abandoned us, because I have a colleague who is 40 plus. Mm-hmm. I think he's past his mid 40s. Mm-hmm. But to date, they don't have a relationship with the dad. Mm-hmm. He has his family, but when the dad calls and asks for the grandkids, he goes and texts them, but they can never sit to talk. Mm-hmm. Because them growing up, the emphasis was, my position in your life is about your school. Mm-hmm. Nothing else. Mm. And now when they're out of school, he's trying to build a relationship with them, and it's non-existent.
Yeah.
So he says that he can have a conversation with the stepmom, but they can sit there like they're total strangers. He sees the father playing with the grandkids, but they can't. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Even when he wants to, he doesn't know where to start, I think. It's non-existent.
And it's tough.
Yeah. So I like the fact that we're having this other perspective of fatherhood in an African setting.
Yes.
Yeah. Because at least those exist. We have that kind.
Yeah. They're there. And there will be people, again, probably even my sisters or brothers, who might have the view of your friend, of my dad. It's possible. I'm speaking about mine and how I pick it. Because I will say one thing, how you take it is different from another person.
That is true.
And how they take it. And for me, where I say that the times have changed, he was compassionate in that way. It was tough. It was telling you the truth. And I found that even when we are bantering at the office and everything, my colleagues often say, one of my colleagues the other day put on one of the department's WhatsApp groups, I think it was I think someone was giving very honest feedback about something as a meme, and he posted this meme, and they say, and he put it on the group, and I don't remember how he phrased it, but it was like, you don't have to tell us or something, but this sounds like something I think that Desire would say. There are things that people might not be able to tell others, but I'll be able to, but not to make you feel bad or anything.
Honest
but to just tell you that, you know what, guys, here we've done poorly.
Yeah.
Or here, this is that kind of thing and stuff like that. And for me, it comes from my dad. Again,
No, but I think where that is, we are really toned or shaped or groomed to be pretentious as
I don't know pretentious.
I don't know if it is not non-pretentious in a way, but the Ganda have so much, glossing about something.
Yes, about issues and
where you
and stuff.
have, done something, they want to be polite around it.
Yeah.
They don't want to hurt your emotions. That is why even when you find someone and you're asking them how they are, hey, how are you? I'm okay. With
Even
a
when
smile.
they are far from being okay. Yeah.
With a smile. So I sort of feel like we are tuned not to be honest. Also, when it comes to the dynamics of man and woman, we are told you're not in any way supposed to hurt a man. So be polite.
That's so true. I think it's also a generational thing now, because again, I've since grown to have invitations to like talk to people and stuff like that, especially the Rotaract people.
Yeah.
And when I tell my story and it starts at, so we suffered and all of that. For example, the part where I tell people, no, I didn't have a salary for 7 years.
Yeah, that's
Of course, there is context to it. The first 3 or so years of them, I was a student and all of that. So I had a bit of the support from my parents, but it doesn't stop the fact that I worked for that long. So, but then there was also the 3 or so years again. It was 7, but 3.5 or so years of them where I was now out of campus and I was trying to get things meet. So you have to maybe... My process was I was starting in the evening, MC at a couple of events as a hype man and all of that.
Yeah.
3 or so, depending on when that night has ended, go take a nap in the studio and then wake up at about 6:40, 6:30 and get on with the show. Do the show up to about 10 a.m. Schedule a few Facebook posts for a couple of bars. So you get a way of getting things to meet.
no payment.
Yeah.
With all that.
At the workplace, there was none. But again, my focus was, it was giving me a platform where I could MC at these events. I could get all these social media gigs and stuff like that. So I found a way to, have it balanced out. But you see, that... And it's by nature. It's not that these people are spoiled or anything, but times change. Exactly why some are millennials, others are baby boomers, others are Gen Zs, others are this. Friend, if it's not paid internship, there's so few interns today that you're going to get to come in. But in our time, it was different because...
Wait, there are few interns willing to... Why am I surprised? There's a lady that came to the law firm.
Yeah.
She was still in school.
Yeah.
And she wanted to intern.
Yeah.
And I think they told her they would be giving her, I don't know what amount of money for, I think, transportation, but she wanted a salary.
Yeah.
She was only there for 1 day. She didn't return.
Yeah.
And I was in Rwanda doing my internship with the... Hey, let me not say much. Before Kagame will take me. I'd rather not talk about his institutes. But I was there for 3 months. There was no payment, no transportation, nothing. So
that was your time again.
It's not a long time ago. Okay, it's long.
No, the shift is huge, and I feel like the COVID-19 also supercharged it in one way or the other. But that said, again, there are things that my dad taught me. The way he taught me, it goes back to your question earlier, and I said he did them.
Yeah.
But it was for those times. Now I need to figure out how to do them for these times. Internship needs to be paid now. Now, before then, when our producer told us, this is how the show is going to happen, you had no opinion. The question was, how do I bring her goal to life through my skills? That was your role. Today, a producer will say, this is what we need to do and all of that. And the presenter will say, no, I can't do that. That's not on my brand.
Yeah.
That's off my brand. But this is what will make us money. And this, because it's a business at the end of the day. No, for me, I don't do that. And we've seen people walk off shows and stuff like that. Today, which, of course, and there's the clash because, again, the people who are the producers, well, we have quite a number of young producers now, and it's a whole different dynamic to deal with. But we also still have people from the old school, and the ones who fail to adjust to the new school are retired or walking out, and they're feeling unappreciated because there's a way things worked then that they don't work today, and all of that. So things change. Now you need to know how to deal with the people that will deliver and all of that. Now you need to understand that you can't tell people that this is how you dress at a media house, because it could be Monday and someone is in something that you feel you saw at the beach yesterday. But they've come in to do their show, do their work and all of that.
And they will deliver.
Yeah. In one of my workplaces, it could be current, could be past, we had a leader who felt, no, someone should not be wearing flip-flops to work. And this creative walks in, he has his t-shirt, you could see where his tits were and all of that as a man. And his pants were not so long and he preferred to wear sandals to work. Because that's when he's in the zone, and he wore headphones from morning to evening until someone appeared to be speaking to them. And they had the best work. Okay, not the best work. They had great work in there. I don't want to have someone feel like, oh, so you feel he was better than me. No, he had great work going on for him and stuff like that, and he delivered. But this is how he prefers to dress up. That's not what we did late 2006 when we started.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Exactly. So there are things my dad did, and I knew that was great fatherhood that I will do with Desrian today. And I will feel like, shouldn't have happened that way. So it's a consistent way of learning and stuff like that. So I can't even blame dad for poor fathering and all of that. He did great fathering for that time, and now it's up to me to figure out how to be doing great fathering. And maybe sometime someone will be interviewing Desiree and she says, my dad was great. I don't know if that will happen or not. I'm just doing my best every day. Yeah.
As a father, how do you take care of yourself? Besides the moments of just keeping calm. Because we're looking at our structure. Of course, the millennial age is different. Where there is some sort of a balance, I think, in a home, where the father back then was the one financing everything. So is you, in your position as a dad, is there a moment where you feel like, oh my God, there is a parent who said she was overstimulated. Yes, I watched her and she had traveled. So it's a family that does content online.
Okay.
So she had traveled away, and when these guys went live on video, she also joined the live. And she was talking to her husband. She was like, I am relaxed. I don't have anyone calling me, mommy.
Yeah.
I think, and she was like, I feel like sometimes we are overstimulated and we don't realize it.
Yeah.
So when the kids came and asked, do you miss us? She's like, kinda.
Exactly.
You're supposed to miss us. Like, man, I am breathing. And then days where you feel like, man, this fatherhood thing.
I hear you. I think rugby has helped me a lot.
Oh, yeah?
To find a balance to that. Because now I know Saturdays are my days. But I've also made it in such a way that as much of Friday is my day. I often have late Fridays in there. But in there, I will also steal an hour or 2 or 3 for me before I go home.
Yeah.
And all of that. And that's it. I will. And it's a conversation that I've found tough to have with a wife. When she listens to this, maybe she'll know. Because, again, as you're trying to be honest with people and stuff like that, you also want to ensure that what it is that you're telling them is constructive, because you need to think about what the repercussions of what you say will matter. I have struggled for a minute to find a way of saying, you know what, I am free from work, I am done, but I also want to do something for me without being hurtful, because the thing is, Now it's easier because, again, marriages grow over the years and you have better conversations with time and everything. But there was a time where I felt like, how do I tell her that I am done with work, I am free now, but I also don't want to come home just yet? You get?
Right.
So for me, there's got to be that time because of what I do and what ambitions I have as a person and all of that. So that's what I've done. Have a few hours for you. Go out to rugby. I've seen a couple of tweets from people who've seen me at the rugby grounds and they're like, yo, if the desire I see at the rugby club met the desire I see on Monday, those are two different people. And yes, for me, that's it. That's the let off and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm pouring all myself in that because I need it to be able to go back on Monday and do that job at the workplace and everything, but to also go back that Saturday night or the next Sunday morning and be as present as possible, not to have baggage from the work and all the stresses and all of these things. Because it is easy to have, again, especially because I work in a creative industry, everyone has something they're creating. Mm-hmm. From the top leader, they're thinking, how can we do this and stand out and everything, to us that are the senior management that are thinking, how do we do this and that and that and that and stand out. But even as the top management and the senior management are thinking of all these things, they're thinking of the goals they want to achieve. And there are so many beautiful different ideas. And if you have a team of 8, there are like at least 4 ideas or 3 ideas in there that sometimes are clashing. And then you have to figure out how they will all work together and stuff like that. And you will know that Nabuguzi clearly doesn't like this idea, but she has to contribute to it. How do I get them to contribute to it? When you come out of all that drama, and you're going to have that at least twice or thrice each single day, and then you take that baggage home. Oh, now I'm done with work and I'm coming straight in. Even the daddy is not enough to solve that, because a couple of times you're going to slip away and just think up through all these things that are going on and all of that. So you have to be mindful. I was talking to a friend. I went to school with her in my primary, and we were just catching up, and she was also she was telling me about how therapy helped her and stuff like that. So I'm also thinking of, can I maybe have a bigger awareness of myself? I'm considering it.
You could.
I don't know. There are things that, again, conservative me has not done.
Oh, are you conservative?
I think so. I'm fairly conservative. I think I'm fairly... Because I've never had a massage. I don't know how another person is going to be touching me in those situations and stuff like that. More the fear. I've also never sat down with a person to just tell me about my life. I feel like, you're going to know too much about me and stuff like that. So I have that wall. But maybe I'll try them out. Yes, with all these, for example, the things we do at Next Media, there are Transformers of the Week, Transformers of the Month and stuff like that. The coupons I've used the least are the coupons to the spa. I actually have them somewhere. I look at them and I'm like, I want this. Either I'll give it out or it will be in a diary somewhere kept. They're there. The last one also gave me a spa. I've not had the time to walk up and pick it up because I'm like, what am I going to do with that? So, yeah.
The first guy that shocked me was my cousin brother. I think he was complaining about backache and I was like, dude, just go for a massage. Like,
Exactly.
And I go there and someone touches me. I was like, dude, it's a massage. You're in pain. And he was like, can you imagine my body being touched? I was like, you're in pain.
I think the first massages I got were the ones that the wife gave me. And I was like, okay, I'm not picturing someone else giving me this. And then she believes in them, so she asks for me to do them, and I'm thinking, what? It's a necessity? And then I'll do it, but I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And she's saying, that's good. Yeah. So yes, there is a lot that I need to get better at and learn and stuff like that. There is still a lot that there are a lot of me things that I need to do better. There are things that people have suggested that, I just should try it. And I'm more driven. And again, how I started out my career also keeps affecting me in ways also, because you'll find, and I'm learning how to be less of an executor. And I think I've gone a long way. There are times whereby the only way something was done is if I did it myself.
Ouch.
You get what I mean?
That's exhausting.
Yeah, and it's quite exhausting, and you got so little done, and you were so tired, and there was all these things of, how far are we on this, how far are we on this, and I was thinking, but you guys, you asked me to do this. We did ask you to do it yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We asked for it to get done, but not for you to do it yourself.
Right.
So there's a whole lot of learning that you keep doing, learning to work with people and accept them and all of that. I think I've gotten to a level whereby I'm now comfortable with how I work with creatives, but they also don't like working with me much, especially the ones who are doing artworks and stuff. They will do an artwork and they feel it's so beautiful, and I'll say, it's not well aligned. And then there are times earlier I would find myself on the computer and selecting
You're trying
everything,
to work it out.
and I'm doing it and
Ouch.
everything, and he's looking at me and he's thinking. But I've learned now over time. Like, I now come with the idea of what we want to achieve, and I tell you, this is what I'm looking at and everything. But they also know what I'm looking out for. So they just do the things, and I've found that there is much more satisfaction in not limiting them to what to do. So yes,
they get derailed.
It's
but that's the whole
learning every single day. At work, at home, in the social life. There are times I go back home and I'm like, you know what? I could have left at 8 p.m. Why did I leave at midnight or 1 or 2? So there's a whole lot of learning.
Like,
man.
what happened?
Like, the opportunity was there to leave, and I don't see what I gained by staying here or there between 8 and 11 p.m. So what was I doing?
Yeah.
But there are times whereby it was great staying. So yeah, it's a lot of learning every single day.
What is that thing that might have changed in you, that you feel like might have changed in you when you became a father, the first time you became a dad?
What changed?
Yeah.
My respect for women. I respected women always. Mm-hmm. But to be there first and foremost for my kids, I've managed to be at each of their antenatal visits. Well, their mothers, but at all of them.
Yeah.
To just go through that and see and experience someone go through the changes they have to go through to deliver. And then
wasn't it horrific?
Sorry?
Wasn't it horrific for you?
Before my first daughter, I'd never been in hospital as much as I was there when my then girlfriend, then fiance, was. For me, hospital was, I have a fever, check me, and within maybe 35, 40 minutes, I'm out.
Yeah.
Then I started experiencing things like, so we're going to do a scan, and then we'll have this test, the results will come up in this long, and we are just seated there, and there are other people, and I'm thinking, what's happening here? So all of that, but to be there because it's a necessity, and we'll be back next month, and we'll be back after this long, and all of that kind of stuff. But especially at the delivery, and this person is so heavy, and then we are trying the natural, then there's option for the C, and then you have to watch them through it, and then there was that moment of the contractions. It's crazy, it's different, and going through that, yes, my respect for women, that definitely changed. And just to understand that fatherhood is much more than the social media posts you put out and say, oh guys, we received a child and all of that. I remember shortly after my first daughter came, I lost my job at Urban TV when they were restructuring and all of that. That was one of the scariest things. Already it was tough to just make ends meet in terms of you wake up. It's not the case of, we could use this kind of meal today. No, you actually need these things. You need Pampers. Sorry, I throw an advert out there. You need diapers. You need... I was so glad. Thank you, Desiree. Maybe one day you'll listen to this. Yeah. Thank you for rejecting that very expensive powdered milk. We were being told the girl just wanted pint milk. What a beauty, that girl. It was so expensive. I walked into the supermarket after she had been delivered, and they say, at Mengo Hospital, there's that supermarket right outside. Go there. They have this kind of milk. You will need it because mommy is not able to put out milk as much as she needs right now. So go out and get it. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I'm a daddy. I'm going to buy something for my daughter or for my child for the first time. I was so excited. Then I picked out I didn't even look at the price. I put it at the table. I looked at it and the price they were telling me, and I said, this is that much, and I need this much every week. Yeah, that little angel turned that thing. I only bought one tin of that and all of that. But all of those, the responsibility to know that, hey, I honestly wasn't buying myself clothes as much as possible. Not because I didn't have the money, but I didn't see the need.
Most guys.
Because of how we were raised, I don't know. But I didn't see the need. But now, even when I saw a good shoe and they told me how much it was, I was thinking, no, there is diapers, there is wipes, the baby clothes have changed, there is that. And then now you are taking a year without buying yourself anything.
Anything.
Because you have to take care of something. So, yeah, that changes a lot. And how you manage those priorities and all of that. God has been kind. It's gotten more comfortable and all of that. But even then, there are times I just wake up, like my shirt will need to look so different from when I first bought it. Then I was realize, I've been buying furniture and, the girls could use this. I think it would be better if we got Wi-Fi. It would be better. So you're serving the home and then you're like, you just get to be shocked out of it. And then, this suit doesn't fit as it used to. This and you're like sitting back and thinking, when will you take care of yourself?
Right.
You get what I mean? So as I go out to do all of these things, you're looking out and you're thinking, of course, for the wife, she doesn't need it, but I know I have to do something every once in a while. Give her this. Out of me, she never did. I'm lucky I have one that never demands for stuff. Yeah. Even sometimes when you know she needs it, she never does. So I'm lucky on that front. But you're doing this for her and then you're doing this for the girls and for the house and for this and all of that. One time I just woke up and I said, I actually need a PlayStation 5. Like I'd sold it when I needed to get things in line and buy a few things, I think, for the second pregnancy or whatever, I think, preparing for it. I was like, I have a game here. I can sell it and just get this amount of money. It will solve a lot of that. So I sold then it was a PlayStation 4. And I just forgot about me. I just got into my routine. And then one moment I was like, you know what? Regardless of what we need, guys, I'm getting myself a PlayStation 5. And I'm bringing it home and it's there. And all of that. And I really played like once in 3 weeks. But when I do, I really do. But you get what I mean? To just take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
So yeah, you're learning that a lot of responsibilities and things are changing from what you want to what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And all of that. But then you also need to learn to remember to take care of yourself and stuff like that. And I think I'm doing a decent job at balancing it all. But being a father, it's crazy. It's so rewarding. I think it's the best thing that has happened to me, honestly. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to know.
I'm glad for everything else that enables me to be
that
father that I am today, whether it's good or bad or still learning or whatever. I'm grateful for the job, for the people I work with and all of that, the opportunities and the people who have been there to support in everything. Mm-hmm. But regardless of everything, being a father, especially with who I'm doing that with, it's the best thing that has happened.
Especially with who I am doing it with. That is very important.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole conversation.
Of its own, yes.
It's a whole episode of its own.
Yes,
what are the words that you would love to leave the listener? Mm-hmm. Father's Day. First of all, happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
I don't have gifts for you. I don't know how you do your fathering, so.
It's kawa. I didn't expect much, Nabuguzi. I didn't expect much, so no worries about that. Let me see.
I think maybe you could leave it for the fathers.
Yeah, I'll leave it for the young fathers, the ones who are just going out there. It's more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's not much more expensive than the life you are living right now. Like I was saying, it's about really changing priorities. Priorities change and people will understand. but you don't have to be a certain amount of rich to be a good father.
Some people are avoiding it, actually. You've really pointed it out very well. We have a new crop of, I don't know if I should specifically talk about the millennials. Well, the podcast is mostly for them. But we have a new crop of millennials who are like, dude, I can't afford myself. There's no way I can bring in someone else.
Fam, you'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So many a time they're not planned pregnancies and all of that, and we run away and stuff like that. But trust me, there's nothing you're going to spend on. I don't know. You figure it out. It works. It gets to work out in one way or the other. You struggle here and there. But hey, you're also struggling now without the child. So it won't be different.
It's more struggle. That is what we are avoiding.
The struggle that you're going through now, it will be similar. Because at the end of the day, they're going to eat the food that you eat. By the way, for the first 5 or 6 years, I don't... they're going to eat a quarter of the food you eat. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to be the medical bills and all of those things and stuff like that. But there are ways you figure these things out and stuff like that. So go out and be the best father you can be. Again, like I said, there are fathers that are much more wealthy than I am.
Yeah.
But we struggle with the same issues. Hey, my child... the way they are behaving, I think they're going through something and all of that. Each parent has something they're struggling with.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be different. If it has happened, well and good. If you want to go in for it and you feel like, you know what, this is, again, it's a challenge. Don't just walk in thinking like it's going to be just some easy thing to go through. It's not a smooth ride at all and everything. All these things I'm talking about, balancing and stuff like that, you could be balancing your party life and your work life and all of that. You're always going to balance something. You're just quitting one for the other and all of that. And you just make the decision, figure it out. We are all parenting in a different way. It works. Don't be so scared. Just plan for it. And, do as much as you can. I don't feel like I'm saying anything different because you know what? That's exactly what it is on the other end. We are all trying to figure it out. So come join us if the time comes. Yeah.
My future husband should hear.
He definitely should listen to that and a whole lot more.
All right, Desire, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you. How long did we go? I have no idea, but it felt like we just kept going and going. But it was a good conversation.
An hour.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us to the very end. If you loved this episode, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button in your podcast platform of choice. Also, feel free to share your insights about what connected with you on social media and be sure to tag us. We are at #with Navuguzi Chiwanuka on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast, or you can use the hashtag HTNK in session.